This countdown has been brought to you by the worst fanbase in media. No regrets. Ah, Sonic the Hedgehog. What an interesting franchise. This series is infamous for its sense of adrenaline and fast-paced gameplay. Oh, and also can't forget the kick-ass music. From his debut in the early 90s to his modern roots within the home console, Sonic has been around for 25 years. And since last time I talked about my favorite Mario games, I figured now I'd talk about his rival in my top 10 favorite Sonic games. Please note, this was a very hard list to count down and to rank them, so please don't get too mad if your favorite Sonic game isn't on the list. But hey, no hard feelings. This is just from the perspective of a Sonic fan who wants that trademark speed to come in handy. And with that, let us begin. I'm Nintendo Gamer 384, and this is my extremely subjective top 10 favorite Sonic games. It's always great to start off with a little controversy.
You what?
Yeah, I went there. Before I go into depth with Sonic 2, I really need to tell you guys at least this. From what I've heard, Sonic 2 is brought up more than any other Sonic game. Personally, I like Sonic 2, but just not as much as all of you out there. Is that gonna be a problem?
No.
Good to hear. On to the game. The game's premise is similar to Sonic 1, where Dr. Robotnik is continuing his turning animals into robots deal and building the Death Star ripoff. Sonic's controls remain the same, with his new ability being the Spin Dash, which is incredibly useful. Not to mention, the levels are some of the most iconic in the franchise, giving you that sense of speed and adrenaline that comes with this series. Other important additions include Tails, a 2-player mode, a 7th Chaos Emerald, Super Sonic, and, well, others. The platforming is done very well, the level design is great, the music is awesome, and the controls are smooth. In conclusion, Sonic 2 may be great, but only gets number 10 on my list. So, don't get too mad. The 3D Sonic titles seem to get flacked more so than the 2D brethren, especially since it didn't follow the main roots of the 2D Sonic games, mostly being 2D platforming bliss. However, there is one 3D Sonic game in which nearly everyone in the fanbase can agree that it is enjoyable. The original Sonic Adventure. This was the first Sonic game I ever played, and hell, it still holds up to me today. The story's kinda long, but I'll try and keep this brief. Long story short, Sonic, along with Tails, Knuckles, Amy, E102 Gamma, and Big, must be able to stop Dr. Eggman from stealing the Chaos Emeralds and defeating it as the mutant known as Chaos, who is, like I said, a mutant of the species known as the Chow, who is considered the god of destruction. Think of Chaos as an equivalent to Beerus from Dragon Ball Z. Okay? Cool. Like I said, these 6 characters are a part of the main story, which means they're also playable characters. So you have a total of 6 multiple stories to go through. Sonic is the basic get to the goal scenario. Tails races Sonic to the goal. Knuckles finds the missing pieces of the Master Emerald. Amy basically has stealth missions to avoid certain robots. Gamma is basically Boomstick from Screw Attack.
And a robot master after my own heart. He likes blowing shit up so much that he built his own weapons museum. And then blew it up.
And we don't even talk about Big's gameplay. I mean, seriously, what the fuck is this shit? What truly makes the game special is the overworld. Seriously, it's just so relaxing to run through, and I prefer doing this than doing all the missions. Controls are responsive, the music is atmospheric, the characters are compelling, mostly, and I just love the overworld. Conclusion? Sonic Adventure is what got me into the Sonic series. However, it only gets number 9 on this list. The debut of the Blue Blur, you say?
Shut up and take my money.
It may not have been the first game in this series that I played, but the first appearance of the Blue Blur is what made me love this franchise to a near passion. In an attempt to steal the 6 Chaos Emeralds, Dr. Ivo Robotnik has trapped the animals of South Island into robots and capsules. Sonic must be able to free his animals and defeat Eggman to get the 6 Chaos Emeralds back. Gameplay was really unique at the time, focusing on the sense of speed throughout a level. There are even special stages that, if you acquired 50 or more rings, you can get a Chaos Emerald. What more can I say? I love the presentation, I love the gameplay, I love the level design, and I love the music. And it's just so memorable. Now, if only blast processing wasn't a thing.
The Sega Genesis has blast processing. Super Nintendo doesn't. So what's blast processing do? And what if you don't have blast processing? Sega!
Oh boy! Sonic Heroes is extremely picked on by the fanbase. Why is that? Because the fanbase is terrible, that's why. Just after 3 months after Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic will receive a letter saying that Eggman has the ultimate weapon and will take over the world within 3 days. Rouge is infiltrating a base and teaming up with Shadow and Omega after resolving their problems. Amy teams up with Cream and Big in order to find Sonic, as well as Cream and Big's friends being Froggy and Chocolate Chow. And Team Chaotix...
What?
They receive a job with a mysterious walkie-talkie, which will pay them handsomely, and of course Espio is very suspicious about it. I like how the plot intertwines with some of the sub-stories, and it becomes the biggest plot twist in Sonic history. The game introduces this new gameplay mechanic of having a team of characters rather than one person, and I like that a lot, as each character type has different abilities that stand out to them. Not to mention that the level design is different in each zone for each team, making it really unique. I also really enjoy the music, the boss fights, and even the character interactions. Except for Big and Charmy, you two annoy me. In conclusion, I still love Sonic Heroes. Even if it may be picked on, I think it's still awesome. And I think no less of that. Here's how I think the fanbase might react to this next game being so low on the list.
Shut up!
Yeah, that sounds about right. Now I know what you're thinking. I'm putting 2 games on the list and that's cheating. Well, yes and no. I say yes because it was originally intended to be 1 game, but it was separated into 2 due to a lack of cartridge space. So I technically can put Sonic & Knuckles as 1 whole game on the list. For the sake of this entry, I'll be talking about each of the individual games, being Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles respectively. Sonic 3 is set in a new location being Angel Island, and for being the complete dick that he is, Knuckles steals the Chaos Emeralds from Sonic because he thinks he's stealing the Master Emerald. Of course, Dr. Eggman telling him that. Gameplay-wise, nothing's really changed since the past 2 Sonic titles, except for the elemental shields. Blocking fire, avoiding drowning, and attracting rings are a new unique way of playing. The zones are also beautiful to look at, but the true weakness of Sonic 3 is in its soundtrack, which is not really as impressive as the past 2 titles. Some claim that Sonic 3 is way too short, but just remember guys, this is only half the true game. Sonic & Knuckles continues Sonic 3's story, where Sonic & Knuckles must save Angel Island from being controlled by the Death Egg. Like Sonic 3, nothing really changed within the gameplay mechanics, but one thing that has changed is the inclusion of Knuckles. Good old Knucklehead here can glide, climb up walls, and even do a 3-punch combo. And the music is better than Sonic 3. Bottom line, Sonic 3 and Knuckles may seem to have a lack of innovation, but as long as they're fun, I won't complain one bit.